Hello and welcome. This is Miriam. Today we're going to paint these autumn leaves in the negative painting style. And this is actually the second page in my Bible devotional book I'm making at the moment. And the colors we're working with are yellows and oranges and red colors. And I have three brushes in three different sizes, 10, 6, and 2. And I have taped my paper down to a board and also divided the page with some masking tape so that I can see which half to paint on. And I begin with my largest brush and I wet the whole page because to begin with we are going to work wet in wets. I like how the colors flow together on the page. And we will begin with a very watered down colors, and we will allow the colors to mix on the paper. And you can see here I begin with the yellow ochre, I believe this is, and I just dab it around the paper just randomly and allowing the water to flow out, to make the paint flow out. And now I continue with a orange color and then with a red color. And I have a cadmium red I'm using, but also a warmer red. Or no, it's a cooler red actually. But I think you should choose the colors that you prefer, and you can always make a color test and see what colors you think look beautiful together. And now I'm just allowing everything to mix on the paper, and I just slowly build up the painting. And again, I'm not adding too much color because the first layer we want to be very light. And now I allow the whole thing to dry. And then I have to decide which leaves I want to be the focal point, because the lightest area will be what stands most out in the painting. And I've chosen three uh, leaves, and now I'm wetting the area around the leaves because now I don't want to have any paint on these leaves, but we are going to paint around them. And this will be the first layer. And this is called negative painting because you are painting the negative space around your subjects. So, yeah. And I'm just continuing with putting color on now on this area that I have wet. I still want the paints to just flow together. And now the color is a little bit stronger, so that we can be able to see all the leaves. Uh, yeah, so I have three leaves that I paint around, and now I just got a big blob of quite dark color, and I just go in with water and just mix it on the paper. And I really love this effect. I think it's so beautiful, and it gives the impression of all the autumn colors in the background. And yeah, I think autumn is so beautiful with all these yellow and red colors and brown colors. And yeah, so that was what I was trying to catch with this painting. And I'm making sure to get the paint in around the leaves so you will be able to see them. And this means that I put color quite close to the edges of the leaves. This will help them to pop, but we will go in with more layers, so we will build the whole thing up layer by layer. Yeah, so, and then once we are finished with this layer, we will allow it to dry again. and then we will pick out the next leaves we don't want to paint, and then we will paint around those plus the ones we avoided here. So this is how you do the negative painting style. Yeah, so it's quite nice. You slowly build up the painting, and it's up to you how much color you want, or how strong you want the color to be. If you prefer a lighter painting than the one I'm making here, you just make your all the layers with more watered down colors. So you have to find your own preference, and it can vary from person to person what you really love. Um, and watercolor, I think, is just so beautiful, both when it's quite light and but also sometimes with the very strong colors. Now everything is dry, and we will continue with the second layer. And as before, I wet the area where I'm going to paint next. And then I just begin to drop in paint and make sure to avoid the leaf. And now I begin to paint around the leaf. And again here I'm using different yellows and reds and oranges. Oranges, do we say that? Isn't that a fruit? But it's also a color. And I'm just drying the whole thing off with my hair dryer because I'm a little bit impatient and everything is just a little bit too wet. And I really wanted to dry between every layer. Yeah. So now we can work on the next part. Now I'm not wetting the page first. I don't know if I just forgot it or it's like that sometimes. But yeah, if you begin with a very light color, the page gets wet and the next thing you put on will be wet and wet. So yeah, that's also a way to do it. I just want to avoid the hard edges because I don't like that in a painting like this. So I'm very aware that I want yeah, mix the colors while they are wet. And I can also go in with some water on the edges just to soften them up if I see any. And now you can slowly begin to see the leaves occurring on the page. Yeah. And yeah, this is actually how you do it. And then you would just work layer by layer. And on every layer, you avoid some more leaves. And then, yeah, at the end of the painting, we are going to make some details. But for now, I think I would just put on some music and you can just follow along and pause the video if you think it's going too fast. And then I will return once we're going to make some details. And as you can see now, I have darkened the color quite a bit. So yeah, we are adding some more colors now on the last couple of layers. I really want that it to be very dark and vibrant. So yeah, and again, of course, avoiding the leaves. And as you can see, the finished painting here in the corner, how I've put the colors. So if you want to do something like that, you can always take a look at that and yeah, follow that if you want to. You could also make the background a little bit lighter in some places than I have done. Yeah, that's up to you. And now that I've finished the background, I'm going in with my size 2 brush, and I want to make some details here and there. I think I'm mixing some brown color now because I want to paint in the branches. Yes, that's what I'm doing. If you prefer the branches to be in the light color, like with the leaves, then you shouldn't paint them. And you can also not paint them as dark as I do. That's also up to you. I just wanted to make them darker. This is my preference. So, but yeah, you can decide what you prefer. Decisions. That's how it is sometimes with a painting. And also sometimes you are taking a chance. But It's by the practice that we become better to see what works and what doesn't work. So don't be afraid to ruining your paintings. Don't be afraid to experiment. And yeah, sometimes you take a chance and you ruin your painting, but you learn something, and that's the important thing. And it's only by learning that you get better and by trying to do something different than what you usually do. So I think in previous I have left the branches in a lighter color. So now I just wanted to try how it would look with a darker color. And now I'm painting in some veins on the leaves, and I'm using quite a watered down color because I don't want the veins to be too strong in color. I just want them to be, yeah, you can see that the leaves has some definition, but don't want them to take all the attention from the painting, if you can call it that. So yeah, and I'm working in different colors. It depends on what's the dominant color on the leaf. Yeah, so that's how I choose the color I'm using. And I really enjoyed this last part. It's always a little bit exciting to see how the painting will end up. Yeah, and is it a success or did I in the last minute make some kind of mistake? But yeah, that's just how it is sometimes. And it's not like you can't do it again because you can. So yeah, I've made quite a few paintings in this style, and it's painting and learning every time. So and now the painting is finished, and I'm going in with my hairdryer to remove the masking tape. It can be a little bit tricky sometimes. And yeah, now we will get that nice crispy white edge. And please, if you found this video useful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos. I will not be here for quite a while now because there's somebody in my family who's very ill and I have to be there. So yeah, but anyways, thank you for watching. And as you can see, I had a little accident with the paper here. It teared even though I'm using my hairdryer. It's really annoying. So I'm just grabbing some glue because I don't want to tear it off. I'd rather give it a go and try to glue it back on with some glue that dries up so you can't see it. So yeah, I'm just finding a brush to do that and a little container where I can put in a little bit of glue. And then I'm going to find a brush to use for this. Yes, and there you go. I'm going in with a little bit of glue. And I'm looking where the paper has teared. And I'm trying to stay inside those lines so we won't get glue everywhere, but it will dry up so you can't see it, so that's a good thing about this. And then I just gently press the teared paper down. Make sure that it's sticking nicely to the paper. And then I'm adding the glue and the part that's been teared off, and gently pressing it down very slowly, helping it so it will look nice. So I think that worked out quite well. So I'm quite happy about that. So yeah. Yes, and this is how the finished page look. It's the next page in my Bible devotional. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you again in another video.